Welcome to your Daily Writing Habit, episode number 450. If you are writing a book or thinking about it or trying to finish a book you've started, you are in the right place. Good morning and happy 4th of July. I am your host, Christine Whitmarsh, also known as Christine Inc. I-N-K, like that stuff we write with. And the Founding Fathers did too. Each day I'm sharing with you the writing habits I've learned over my 19 years as a ghostwriter, book coach, and author. I have found that three things in particular have a huge impact on your success as an author, and they have the ability to turn a quote-unquote non-author into a published one. Those three things are my three pillars here on the show: writing fundamentals, productivity, and mindset habits. Here's today's quote. If liberty means anything at all, it means the right to tell people what they do not want to hear. George Orwell. And once again, good morning. Happy 4th of July. Happy Saturday. Also, it's my wedding anniversary. Yes, I got married on the 4th of July. You can read all about it. See, it's so great to be able to say that now. You can read all about it, my wedding and my marriage and all my life stories in my memoir, The Power of the Curve, powerofthecurve.com. It's so weird. This is the first 4th of July where I can say that. Anyway, since it is Independence Day here in the States, I thought I would share some thoughts on a different type of independence with you: author independence. And I have a couple quotes and some stats for you here before I launch into that. The data shows it. Independent authors are threatening the traditional model. It's certainly an exciting time to be an independent author. And that is from Patrick Walsh in an article November 8th, 2018 on his blog called The Writer. And here's some additional quotes. If you read the statistics, the future of books can appear mediocre, especially for traditional publishers. Net book revenue is flat, changing little in the last few years. Ebook sales from traditional publishers showed a decline in 2016. Overall book sales from the quote-unquote Big Five publishers have declined by 12% over the last 3 years. It's a time for the people who relish books that take risks, explore unconventional topics, and break out of the traditional publishing shell. And that is from K.L. Cranes. I'll try to pop some of these links into the show notes. I'll see if I'll be able to do that. That's a very well-researched blog post from K.L. Cranes, K-R-A-N-E-S, from March of 2017, called The Death of Traditional Publishing and Going Indie. Maybe It's Not a Bad Thing. Great article. So, needless to say, authors everywhere are beginning to celebrate their own independence. And I think it's safe to say it's beyond beginning to celebrate. Authors everywhere are celebrating their own independence from the constraints of the traditional publishing model. This form of revolution, which is kind of an author form of revolution, is certainly less dramatic than the American Revolution. No bloodshed or acts of treason or anything like that. Authors are not gathering on board a Carnival cruise ship and dumping New York Times best-selling books overboard. The revolution we're seeing instead is the business disruption of yet another long-time traditional industry that no longer works for the people it's meant to serve in many cases. In this case, the disruption is being led in part by authors who are sick of handing over creative control, royalty money, and stewardship of their author brands to oversized publishing companies that offer very little in return. Outside of these business reasons, there is another compelling reason I see for authors to declare their independence and refuse to ask for permission to distribute their stories and ideas to the world. It's a reason that connects strongly to Independence Day itself: the First Amendment. The First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution was arguably designed to protect unpopular speech more than popular speech. It was created to defend the existence of quote-unquote politically incorrect and anti-establishment ideas that exist outside of mainstream thinking. Traditional publishing, by design, seeks the most mainstream ideas palatable to the greatest number of readers. This is because its business model is based on book sales, not on the strength and potential impact and reach of author ideas specifically. Traditional publishing is designed to reward the most popular mainstream book ideas. Indie publishing, by contrast, exists outside the mainstream model of delivering books to readers, which should be the reason that publishing exists, to deliver books to readers. So here are some different reasons if you're considering indie versus traditional. Here are some different reasons to go indie. Number one, your book is banned. Maybe your book has been banned from public consumption. Think about all the authors whose books have been banned: Mark Twain, Jack London, Joseph Heller, J.D. Salinger, Ernest Hemingway, John Steinbeck, Walt Whitman, Tennessee Williams, Harper Lee, Harriet Beecher Stowe, Cesar Chavez. Just the list goes on of authors whose books were banned. But you know that your book is far too important to be kept secret. Another reason to go indie is you are an entrepreneur. You're already, or you're planning on becoming, an entrepreneur with a product, service, and or brand. And the idea of handing over creative and business control of something as important as your book and your author brand makes no sense to you whatsoever. Definitely a reason to go indie. Number three, disruptor. Maybe you're a fan of disruption. You're a curious observer of change, and realizing that as an indie author, also known as a self-published author, you can throw your hat in the ring and be a part of it all. It's very exciting. And finally, number four, you have an indie mindset. You're not the type to ask for permission, this is me by the way, to do much of anything, much less get your stories and ideas out to the people who need to read them. Going indie doesn't necessarily mean you're closing the door to massive book sales and worldwide popularity. Many authors, like Andy Weir of the book The Martian that became an Oscar-nominated, I think actually Oscar-winning movie, have successfully made the leap from indie to traditionally published authors. So you're not closing the door just because you decide to start indie. But if you're not someone who wants to go around asking for permission, definitely indie publishing for you. The point is, as an author of words and ideas, you should be relieved that there is a rapidly rising path to publishing that caters to non-mainstream authors and their ideas. We should all be relieved. Entrepreneurs and visionaries who want to call their own shots. Writers with powerful book ideas that are not necessarily attached to guaranteed, whatever that means, book sales. The indie author's revolution is our own literary First Amendment, designed to protect and give voice to book ideas outside of the establishment. Even if you're not interested in exercising your right to indie authorship, nothing wrong with that. Like the First Amendment, you can be thankful that it's there. Once again, happy Independence Day, especially to my listeners in the States here. And thank you for joining me here on Your Daily Writing Habit, where I am helping you write and finish writing an awesome book. And please drop by my Inc. Authors group on Facebook and let us know how we can support your writing goals. I hope everyone has a safe and fun and relaxing holiday weekend. Until tomorrow, happy writing.